Councillors, staff and residents of Logan. Before I start, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land we've gathered on today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, culture and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people across this great nation. I extend my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today and recognise their continuing connection to lands, water and community. I acknowledge their history of wisdom, resilience and survival, and respectfully thank them for their contribution to the life of this city and region. So welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting of 18th of October 2023. I declare this meeting open at 10 a.m. I would like to advise meeting attendees that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. Can the gallery please be upstanding if you're able to, and join me in a moment of contemplation. Amid the tumultuous conflicts that persist both globally and within Australia, it is essential for us to take a moment to reflect on the path we are collectively treading. The world appears to be an increasingly contentious place, and it's easy to react with anger and frustration when confronted with the immediate effects of these conflicts. However, in these challenging times, we must remind ourselves of the importance of finding peaceful resolutions, empathy and understanding. Reacting in the heat of the moment is a natural human response when faced with adversity. Yet, it is during these challenging times that we need to exercise restraint and consider the broader consequences of our actions. It's a time when, as leaders in our communities, we must take a mature perspective on the challenges we face, leading by example and emphasising the importance of calm and thoughtful deliberation. It is a time when we need to spend more time listening and engaging with our communities and each other. It is through these actions where we can better understand the perspective of others. As leaders in our communities, we bear a great responsibility. Our influence extends beyond our immediate circles, and our actions ripple through society. Therefore, we should strive to be peacemakers, the voices of reason and the advocates of understanding. It is up to us to lead the way in promoting unity and cooperation, especially during times when division and conflict are challenging our everyday lives. It is undeniable that the world is currently rife with conflicts and challenges, but in facing these, let us remember the power of empathy through reflection and the significance of finding peaceful resolutions. Thank you. I note that Councillor Raven and Councillor Hermeyer are requested leaves of absence for today's meeting due to their attendance at the Local Government Association Queensland AGM, and also Councillor Russell is unwell and seeks a leave of absence as well. Is there a mover for the motion as now displayed on the screen? Councillor Wilcox has moved the motion. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That's been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Condolences. I would like to start first as Mayor of the recent passing of Jürgen Liegner of Charlotte Park. He's one of my supporters and has been in the Charlotte Park community for at least 25 years that I know of. His son is one of the most brilliant minds. He's a medical researcher and also a former Dux. The Lieningers are very family-oriented and from German descent, and I realise that the passing of Jürgen would be a significant impact for that family. I'd also like to talk about the passing of Judy Healy. Judy Healy was a former Labor Party member who ran for this council office in 1994, supporting the Labor mayoral candidate, or one of them, Joe Verrar. Judy, as a result of that election, I became friends with her, and I've known her for that long. She was a hard worker. She brought up 3 boys of her own. She was a single parent, and all boys are working and very successful in their own. Judy was inspirational in the way she brought those kids up, and certainly was a local. And she was living with her son before she passed away in Canoobia. She'll be sadly missed by the family. Any other condolences? Councillor Lane?
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Donna Bockholt was a local from Welbeck Street in Logan Central, and Donna lived there for 20 plus years with her partner Morris. Donna was the face of Heart Walkers that goes through Logan Central Plaza each morning. She was a fun, vivacious, wonderful woman. She was also the face of Logan City Council's Seniors Day. And looking at her pictures on the advertising material in the lead up to this, knowing that she'd passed, and being there on the day, the people had a mixture of joy and happiness and sorrow. Donna only had weeks from diagnosis to death, and she passed away as a result of cancer ravaging her body, and we're all wearing pink today for that very cause. So thanks, Mr Mayor. If we could send condolences to Morris Jackson, that would be lovely.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. That will be done. Any other condolences? Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Community members have been saddened recently to hear of the passing of Edward Searle, or better known to locals as Ted, on Sunday, September 24. Ted was a special and loved gentleman by many. He was an amazing husband, father, granddad, great-granddad, brother, son-in-law, uncle and friend. He was always helping the community with wildlife, and their home was home to many wildlife animals. He also began the Queensland Reptile and Amphibian Club, and I would very much like to pass my condolences on to Alma and on the passing of Ted to the family. Thank you.
That will be done, Councillor Wilcox. Okay, thank you. We'll now observe a moment of reflection in honour of those who have gone before us and in support of those who are left behind. Thank you, councillors. We'll go into congratulations. We have one congratulations report to consider in today's meeting. I'll now refer to item 6.1, Acknowledgement of National Cities Powers Partnership Climate Champion Award. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? 2023. Before we open discussion on this item, do any councillors have a conflict of interest? No? Good. I'll now go to the podium. Last month, Logan City Council was announced as the winner of the National Cities Power Partnership Climate Champion Award for 2023. This award is a testament to our unwavering dedication to building a greener city and the exceptional green credentials that we proudly uphold. It is an acknowledgement of our tireless efforts to reduce carbon emissions and our commitment to safeguarding and enhancing our city's natural environment for the generations to come. Special mention must be made of our extraordinary achievements, achieving carbon neutrality, leading the South Eastern Queensland Climate Resilience Alliance, introducing a green waste service, and actively pursuing renewable energy and carbon emissions reduction opportunities. These milestones mark our commitment to making a lasting impact, a legacy. The award is testament to the hard work and dedication of our council staff. The National Climate Champion Award celebrates the dedication, commitment and successful collaboration of our council staff to deliver, implement and achieve excellence in sustainability initiatives, climate resilience and environment outcomes for the community. I would now ask Michael Asnikar to come and collect the award and invite all our branch representatives here today to come up and join for a photo. So congratulations. They're the sort of awards I like giving out. Okay, we'll now go to the councillors for congratulations. I'll start off with Councillor Bradley. Oh, hang on, we've got to move that motion. So, is there a mover for the reports motion as displayed on the screen? Councillor Hall has moved the motion. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I'll now put the motion to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That's been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Thank you, councillors. I'll now go to general ad hoc congratulation requests. So, Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This definitely isn't ad hoc. There's something definitely in the air in Division 1. Last month I sent congratulations to Violet Withy, who turned 105. And today, another 100, over 100, birthday celebration for Mr. Harold Radley, who recently celebrated his 101st birthday on the 2nd of September. Huge milestone. Congratulations, please be sent. Thank you.
That will be sent. Councillor Lane.
Sursabai Bon Chumban. That means hello, Happy Ancestors Day in Cambodian. And on the weekend, I had the great fortune to be able to attend Ancestors Day at the Khmer Buddhist Temple on 3rd Avenue. And I'm wearing this really radical jacket that has actually come from Cambodia as a result of sending a jacket across and getting one back. Bit snug, but these things happen. Ancestors Day is a celebration of exactly that, the ancestors. It's food offerings, it's the monks chanting, and it's actually to stop their ancestors. The gates of hell open at the same time as the gates of heaven, and it's to actually get them on their journey through. It's a really good message to acknowledge the people that have come before you, and no one does it quite like the Cambodians in the community, with several hundred people in attendance. I was really proud to represent Division 2 at that event, and I just want to say congratulations to Savanari Ook and all of the Cambodians at that temple. Thank you.
Congratulations will be sent. Councillor Kransky.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask that congratulations be forwarded to my good friend Janine Barney. Janine has been nominated as one of South East Queensland's most inspiring women. Janine is one of the PGA professionals out at Windaroo Lakes Golf Club, and she runs women's clinics weekly for the club. She also lends her expertise to Council's Active and Healthy program and her Golf for Women program at the club. Janine is the driving force behind the incredibly popular chip and sip events at the club, which means people like me can get out and have a round of golf. And more importantly than that, she uses this platform to help raise funds for important charities across the city, including Think Pink breast cancer awareness. Janine has a passion for seeing women of all ages enjoy their golfing experience, and last year alone, Her clinics boosted female membership at the club by 33%. So she's one of our great achievers out there. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kerensky. That will be sent. Councillor Hall, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Banner and Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I'd like to ask congratulations to be passed on to Officer in Charge of Logan Home Police Station, Senior Sergeant Jacinta Panowitz. Jacinta was recently awarded with the Audrey Fagan Memorial Award and the Most Outstanding Female Leader Award at the Australasian Council of Women and Policing Awards ceremony. The Audrey Fagan Memorial Award recognises outstanding women who have shown exceptional qualities as a mentor, role model, and leader of men and women in policing and law enforcement. And the Most Outstanding Female Leader Award recognises a person who demonstrates dynamic and innovative leadership, mentored and guided others, and contributed significantly to their field. As a survivor of domestic and family violence, Jacinta has actively contributed to influencing cultural change within the Queensland Police Service. She is a great leader, outstanding role model for men and women in policing, and a powerful advocate for women in the community. Thank you.
Councillor Stemp, I've known Jacinta for over 30 years. We studied together, we did justice, and she's a very good police officer, and I'm not surprised, and I'll actually enjoy writing on that little bit of paper because I'm one of her fans. I think she is doing a wonderful job down at Logan Home. Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to pass my congratulations to all the schools across Logan who are going through awards ceremonies and celebrations at the moment. And to all of the students that receive awards, and I actually was a proud mum last week when my daughter received an award at school. But grade 12 students, they're on their last weeks at school. Best of luck to all of them. They're about to start exams, possibly go through formals and all the rest of it. So good luck to all the grade 12s as well across the city. But I would especially like to congratulate Greenbank State School. They recently held their colour run. All students were able to be involved. Wear white, get drenched in colour, and their P&C raised just over $20,000, and the kids loved it. It was a fantastic day. I'm really cranky because I was in here in meetings and I couldn't get there, but I do look forward to going to the next one. And Greenbank State School has also had many students lately that have done outstanding in sports. In August, Mia Fardell, Oscar Hughes, Carter Burns and Charlotte Fielding all represented the school and district at the Regional Athletics Carnival. Then Charlotte went on to represent Met West at the Queensland State School Sports and Track Field Championships in the 100 metre sprint, and she also placed second in the 100 metre relay. So congratulations to Miss Charlotte. And then Greenbank has also had students represent them in netball at the United Sports League that was held at Parklands Christian College, and a special mention goes to Ruby and Chloe, who were selected on the competition's merit team. And then I have a happy birthday that I must give. Apologies. I would also like to wish a happy birthday to Michelle Commons, who recently celebrated her 50th birthday. Hopefully she doesn't kill me for doing this, on the 13th of September. She's actually a very much loved council staff member, and she's part of the Waste and Recovery resource team. And she has certainly celebrated in style with quite a few celebrations across August and September. So Michelle, if you're watching, I wish you a very happy birthday, and it seemed like you had a fantastic birthday month. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Wilcox. Councillor Murphy? No? Okay. Staff, if you want to leave now, we'll let you. We don't want to torture you to death. But thanks for your good work. Okay, councillors, I now refer to the minutes of the previous ordinary council meeting. I move that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 13th of September 2023 be confirmed. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bradley has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lane a second. We'll put that matter to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. I now refer to the declarations of conflicts of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare any new conflicts of interest against any items on today's agenda, including any conflicts which have subsequently arisen from matters discussed at committee? No, there have been none. I now refer to the next item, which is business arising from minutes. We have no business arising from the minutes to consider, so we'll go straight into the committee reports. I now refer to the City Planning, Economic Development Environment Committee meeting held on the 10th of October 2023. As Councillor Raven, Chairperson of City Planning, Economic Development Environment Committee, is absent from today's meeting, I will ask Councillor Stemp, Deputy Chairperson, to proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to item 5.1, 2022-2023 Environmental Levy Annual Report of the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee meeting held on the 10th of October 2023, following the meeting, a minor amendment was made to the Environmental Levy Annual Report, which was attachment 2 of the report. The amendments that were made on page 11 of the annual report and included adding the word round 1 and round 2 next to two of the tree planting events in Cornubia Forest Park to identify that there were 2 separate events and not a duplicate.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. We will now need to pass a motion to table the amended attachment 2, which was circulated to councillors on Friday last week, 13th of October. The motion is now displayed on the screen. As this is a procedural motion, we only require a mover to move this motion. I will now move the motion. So I will now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Councillor Stemp, Deputy Chairperson, City Planning, Economic Development, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I will now speak to the rest of the recommendations. We had a big committee last week with 7 reports, and I'd like to briefly mention 2. Mr Mayor, item 5.1, the 2022-23 Environmental Levy Annual Report highlighted some of the many environmental and sustainability achievements, initiatives and services delivered in partnership with our community throughout the city during the last financial year. From someone who's engaged in many of those events in the last year, I can tell you how passionate the community are and how much they appreciate all that we do in this space. Item 5.3 was a confidential report relating to the proposed joint materials recycling facility project between Logan, Ipswich and Redland City Councils. And while I cannot go into specific details at this stage, this report represents a significant milestone in each council's consideration of the project, and the recommendations establish the next steps. I'd like to acknowledge the work of the steering committee in preparing the detailed report, and in particular our Waste Recovery and Resource Manager, Mr Michael Asnakar, for all his hard work and commitment to the progression of this project.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. Do any other councillors wish to speak? No? I'll hand it back to you, Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the minutes of the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee meeting held on the 10th of October 2023 be confirmed, and that the recommendations of the City Planning, Economic Development and Environment Committee held on the 10th of October 2023 be adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. Councillor Stemp has moved the motion. Do I have a seconder to the motion? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I'll now put it to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Would any councillors like to record their names against or abstain or any particular items within the committee recommendations? Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you. I was against 5.6, please.
That would be recorded. Thank you. Moving on, we'll go now to, I now refer to the City Infrastructure Committee held on the 10th of October 2023. Councillor Lane, Chairperson of the City Infrastructure Committee, you may proceed.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I keep trying to amend your notes to the mighty Infrastructure Committee, given that we do roads, water and waste, as in sewerage. And there's a lot of work happening in the city, Mr Mayor, and there was 2 reports came up to the committee this time. One of them, which is most important to residents, was the concealed water leak. Now, for anyone that's had a water leak, this policy is great for the city, it's great for residents, and it's actually quite fair and equitable. So thank you very much to Logan Water for working on that policy. The other item that came up was a general business on smart water meters, and we're seeking the investigation of having those and pricing them for the installation at residents' costs in local homes if they want them. So pretty good committee all around, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. That's all good news. Do any other councillors wish to speak? No? I'll hand it back to you, Councillor Lane.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. I now move that the minutes of the City Infrastructure Committee meeting held on 10 October 2023 be confirmed and that the recommendations of the City Infrastructure Committee meeting held on 10 October 2023 be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Lane has moved the motion. I have a seconder. Councillor Stamp has seconded the motion. I put the matter to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Would any councillors like to record their names against or abstained on any particular items within the committee recommendations? Forever hold your peace. No? Good. We'll keep moving. I now refer to the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 11th of October 2023. Councillor Hall, Chairperson of the City Lifestyle Committee, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to note that item 5.5, the confidential report, future directions for Springwood Community Facilities Hub of the City Lifestyle Committee meeting, will be addressed later in today's agenda and separated from the bulk adoption of the recommendations. I'll now speak to the remainder of the recommendations. At the City Lifestyle Committee last week, councillors were delighted to receive a sneak peek at the proposed Logan Art Gallery 2024 program. Consistent with the Logan Art Gallery exhibitions policy and proposed program for next year follows two major themes: exploring the diversity of Logan artists' work, as well as bringing to Logan significant touring exhibitions from all around Australia. The wide-ranging programs nurtures and explores the diversity of Logan's artists' work while ensuring community interests are met. Councillors endorsed the finalisation of the local law amendment process for a minor amendment to heavy vehicle parking in Springwood, following community engagement to ensure that Council's heavy vehicle-related local laws reflect contemporary community expectations and progress the amendment to the final stage of the local lawmaking process. Councillors were provided with an update of the City Logan Hooning Task Force and Action Plan. Council acknowledges that hooning is a widespread issue in Queensland as well as the City of Logan, which has a direct impact on the residents' quality of life. While the Queensland Police Service are the lead agency in addressing the issue of hooning, a holistic approach involving key stakeholders from state, local levels of government is required to effectively tackle the problem. Two confidential reports were also robustly discussed in closed session, and I thank my fellow councillors for their vigour and passion for their residents for the City of Logan.
Any other further ones? No. Thank you, Councillor Hall. Do any other councillors wish to speak on any of those items? No? I'll hand it back to Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the minutes of the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 11th of October 2023 be confirmed, and that the recommendations of the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 11th of October 2023, with the exception of item 5.5, be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Hall's moved the motion. Do I have a second of the motion? Councillor Bradley seconded the motion. I'll now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Would any councillors like to record their names against or abstained against any of the particular items in that committee? No? I'll hand it back to you, Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Go here. In relation to item 5.5, confidential report, future direction for Springwood Community Facilities Hub of the City Lifestyle Committee, I'll ask Councillor Hall, Chairperson of the committee, to speak to this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. At the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on the 11th of October 2023, a recommendation was voted on and carried. However, the Division 1 Councillor, Councillor Bradley, has indicated that she would like an additional clause included in the recommendation. For that reason, this matter will be considered separately to allow councillors to consider the Divisional Councillor's request.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. I note this is a confidential report. A proposed resolution to move this matter into a closed session is displayed on the screen. Do any councillors wish to move in a closed session for this item? None being so, we will now put the motion up on the floor. Okay. Councillors, so that's the original motion. Everyone, yep, Councillor Bradley, you can talk to this if you wish.
Mr Mayor, just to clarify, that's not the amended one?
No.
No, thank you.
So as you can see on there, we have the original motion. We will vote on that original motion, bearing in mind that Councillor Bradley would like an addition to this motion. So it's hopefully that this motion doesn't get up, and then we'll go to the amended motion, okay? So I will now, as you can see, that's the original motion that was accepted by the committee last week. I will now put that up to the vote. I will move it. Do we have a mover for the motion? No, we don't have a mover to the motion, so the motion doesn't get up. Can we now have the new motion put up on the screen, please? Okay. And the new motion is up on the screen. Which number have we changed? Sorry? Number 7. Okay, as you can see there, it's been highlighted for the councillors. Is that acceptable amendment? The local councillor has amended that motion, is saying that that is the right motion. Councillors, I'll now ask for a mover for the new amended motion. Councillor Bradley has moved. I'll ask for a seconder. Councillor Hall has seconded the motion. I'll now put the matter to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has not been carried unanimously. Could you please record your vote? I will start with Councillor Bradley.
For.
Councillor Lane.
Against.
Councillor Karansky.
For.
Councillor Hall. For. Councillor Fraser.
For.
Councillor Bannon.
For.
Councillor Stemp.
For.
Councillor Wilcox.
For.
And Councillor
Murphy. For. Thank you.
It's a pink. It's all dazzling. And I was trying to go on and off the dial here. Okay, so that's. Sorry. Sorry, and I'm for. So that will be recorded. I don't think there's a need to obviously record the vote on there because it's been recorded. Okay, so we'll keep moving. Okay, well that finishes that committee. So we'll now go into City Governance. I now refer to City Governance Committee held on the 11th of October 2023. Councillor Murphy, Chairperson of City Governance, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I will now speak to the recommendations. Thank you. There was a total of 10 reports tabled at another busy month for governance as we get closer to the end of the year, and I'd like to speak to 2 reports. Firstly, 5.6, which is the Financial Performance Report for August 2023. Council is currently showing an operating surplus. However, like any business, we are watching the labour market, inflation, lead times on construction and ordering of material. We are also trialling more efficient ways for our road repairs and to reduce times and cost overall. So I just wanted to give that little update, and it's an open report so anybody can have a look at that. Also 5.7, which is the October round of Local Infrastructure Program for 2023. We had a total of 24 projects that were presented to Council for endorsement. This report again is a public report, so any resident can see the report. And again, our councillors are working hard for their communities to get the jobs done. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I hand it back to you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Do any other councillors wish to speak on any of those recommendations? No? Hand it back to you, Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would now like to move, number 1, that the minutes of the City Governance Committee held on the 11th of October 2023 be confirmed, and number 2, that the recommendations of the City Governance Committee meeting held on the 11th of October be adopted.
Thank you. Do we have a... Councillor Murphy has moved. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I'll now put the committee report to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you, councillors. That has been carried unanimously. I now ask any councillor to record their name against any of the items or abstain on any particular items within the committee recommendations. Councillor Stemp.
Mr Mayor, I abstain from 5.7 for the reason provided. Thank you.
That will be recorded.
I abstain from 5.7 and 5.9 so that I could provide a reason. Thank you.
Thank you. That will be recorded as well. Okay, that finishes the council reports. Councillors, we have no late reports to consider, but we have a couple of petitions. I note there are two petitions that will be presented today. Councillor Bannon, you may proceed with your petition.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My petition comes from the local wildlife hospital and it just basically shows the support that's needed behind their wildlife.
Okay, councillors, you probably don't know much about this petition. Does anyone wish to speak in regard to the petition? No? Okay, thank you, Councillor Bannon. There being no further speakers, Councillor Bannon, you may proceed with the moving of this.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I now move that the e-petition titled Logan Wildlife Hospital and Sanctuary, as presented by myself at the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 18th of October, be tabled to the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Bannon. Councillor Bannon has moved the motion. Oh, there's a big rush to get the seconder on this. I'll go for Councillor Bradley. She's a greenie. Okay, so Councillor Bradley has moved a second of the motion. I now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. We'll now go to the second petition. Councillor Fraser, you may proceed with your petition.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this petition is from the Forestdale Neighbourhood Watch and they'd like to have a shed or a container facility at Lincoln Green Park. So this petition outlines their request and I wish for us to accept this petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fraser. Do any other councillors wish to talk to this petition? No? I'll hand it back to you, Councillor Fraser, to move it.
Oh, I'm waiting for the motion. Yeah. So yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that the petition titled Using Lincoln Green Park as Storage for the Forestdale Neighbourhood Watch, as presented by Councillor Fraser at the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 18th of October 2023, be tabled to the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Fraser. Councillor Fraser has moved the motion. I have a seconder. Councillor Bannon has seconded the motion. I now put this motion vote to the floor. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Therefore, the motion has been carried. Consideration of notified motions. We have no notified motions to consider. General business. So we're starting off at Division 4 today. Councillor Karansky, you're up. No? Councillor Hall? No? Councillor Fraser? No? Councillor Bannon? Councillor Stem? Councillor Wilcox?
I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm just taking over today. Anyway, thank you, Mr Mayor. As I left the house this morning, I'm very much reminded that the fire season is upon us. Smoke was very heavy and still sitting across Division 11. But 2 weeks ago, we had severe warnings for Division 11 region, especially in Undulla and Flagstone, for fires that were very close to the area. During that week, the fires, I want to thank the enormous efforts from QFES, Greenbank RFS, and all of the other RFS crews that were out. And I'd just like to remind everybody that our RFS crews are predominantly made up of volunteers who spend days fighting the fires outside of their normal work and their home life. In particular, I'd like to thank Greenbank Officer in Charge Fabian and his dedicated crews for the many hours they have volunteered to fight the fires and keep us safe. I would also like to thank Inspector Corey Bock of QFES and his team's involvement and for organising the 2 community meetings to keep the residents of Flagstone especially and Division 11 safe and advised of the fires and their responsibilities. What became very clear out of this event is for residents to ensure that they seek advice from the appropriate authorities and to stay up to date. So please, if you're out there, please follow the QFES Facebook page, their website and the Logan City Council disaster page and the dashboard for the most accurate and up-to-date information. I would also like to thank Pete for their involvement in clearing fire breaks and fire trails so that RFES could backburn and to access the bushland to cut off the progress of the approaching fires. It did come very close, like 600 metres to Flagstone. And I'd also like to thank the residents of Undulla, so the Undulla residents that are on the acreage. Thank you for your calmness and assisting QFES and RFS and for being so prepared out there. Which leads me to Saturday. On Saturday, we held the Logan City Safe Day Out in Flagstone. We had hundreds of residents turn up, and they were able throughout the day to speak to QFES, QPS, RFS, QAS, Logan City Council, myself, Energex, Kang, SSI, SES, the Salvation Army, and RSPCA. A lot of acronyms in there, I'm sorry. The QFES had demonstrations on how to put out a kitchen fire, and it was fantastic to actually watch everyone. Tuli was there creating the fire and then getting the boys to put out the fire. It was pretty amazing to watch. But there was certainly some excitement in Flagstone because we had 2 choppers that came in. We didn't know if we could guarantee it, but they did come. So we had the water bombing helicopter, and I certainly got some fantastic stats off the pilot when I was out there about how much water he holds and how much it costs to run, and all the rest of it was amazing. And the spotter helicopter also landed. Residents were allowed to get up close and personal, get into the choppers, talk to everyone there. It was fantastic. But a huge thank you also to Jay Hall, who's a Flagstone resident, and he organised the choppers to come down for us. And he was in the spotter chopper, and he flew over home, waved to the kids, and then landed for us at the Oval. I'd really like to thank everyone involved. It was fantastic. Everyone who attended picked up so much information and about how to be prepared for the fire season that's coming, because it is extremely dry out there at the moment, and I just implore everyone to please be prepared and follow the relevant authorities to get the correct information out there. So thank you to everyone involved. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Wilcox. Councillor Murphy. Councillor Bradley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just 2 things. Firstly, elaborating on what Councillor Wilcox was saying about the fires. Because Springwood is quite elevated, the view of the mountains in the distance you cannot see at the moment because of all the fires. And when you go into the city, which I did last night for John Paul College's speech night, you could hardly see the city as well. So it is very concerning, and there are a number of residents that I represent who border on not only Daisy Hill Conservation Park but Springwood Conservation Park, and it is a hot topic at the moment, the season ahead. The second reason I stood up was in relation to Rochdale Road. There should be a GB item that should be on the screen. That's right. I wish to speak to this first. So back in 2018, there was a council resolution to have Rochdale Road, which is a boundary road with Brisbane City Council, on our major roads capacity and safety statement of intent. It's listed as number 7. A number of those roads on that statement of intent are actually being constructed at the moment, including Logan Lee Road. So it's getting closer for Rochdale Road to actually physically happen. Probably roughly about a year ago, I inquired with council officers where the status of this particular road, and the council officers have been meeting with Brisbane City Council officers to try and progress this. It's now getting to a pointy end where it has to become a little bit political, as we had to with Rochdale-Priestdale Road intersection to progress that to be a decision of Brisbane City Council. I have been meeting, I meet frequently with the adjoining councillor. Only a couple of weeks ago I met with him, and each time I meet with him I ask him for an update on where this is up to. Unfortunately, to this date I do not have any information. So hence why I am asking that the Mayor writes to the Lord Mayor, Councillor Schrinner, to progress this particular road, as it is an absolute bottleneck between our 2 cities. It's mostly on Brisbane's side that the road needs to be constructed, but being a boundary road, we are legally obliged as well to actually progress this road. So I ask that, I'm happy to move the item and ask that my councillor.
So Councillor Bradley, you've moved the motion?
Yes. Happy
Yep, so Councillor Bradley has moved the motion. Do I have a seconder to the motion? Councillor Bannon has seconded the motion. I'll now put this matter to the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, therefore the motion has been carried. Is that all? Councillor Lane.
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor, and not a council meeting goes by that I don't toot about the local groups in my area. They've smashed it out in the last month. We've had the annual art showcase at Kingston State College, Logan Brothers Presentation Day, Karenni Deku Festival, the Kids Cultural Program through the Baptist Temple. We've had Logan Roos Football Club annual presentation night, Logan City Garden Club's Friendship Day, celebrating 40 years of friendship there. Family Fun Day was down at Ewing Park. That was absolutely free. 50 years of AICS Community Fun Day down in Councillor Hall's division, run by my local people. We've had the Deadly Kindy Burragers 50-year anniversary celebration, the Quado Cup, which is a Zomi community. We've had Logan Seniors Big Day out in the area, Chin New Year, the Meals on Wheels fundraiser where community got together and did some fundraising for our local Meals on Wheels. The Quado Festival for the Zomi Community of Queensland Inc. Logan View Club's 15th birthday celebrations, the awards ceremony at Woodridge State High School, Pratcham Bend, as I mentioned before, and yesterday we had a morning tea for seniors just to actually tell them what great services council supplies to residents of this great city. And people were actually gobsmacked to learn some of them, which was fantastic. The other thing I did in this past month, Mr Mayor, is I met with a really nice gentleman by the name of Michael Grundon, who runs Garwin Supplies, which is a local Indigenous business operating in Councillor Hall's area. And what they do is they do the high-vis workwear. But most importantly, a percentage of their profits actually goes towards domestic violence for all victims of domestic violence. And they're coming out with a purple shirt that businesses, councils and mining companies can buy. 10% of those sales goes directly towards domestic violence services in our community. Now, Michael is really passionate about it. He knows that there's a lot of need in the community. And when you ring 000 because some morons in the forest ripping it up with their car, and you get told that there's domestic violence issues occurring in the community and the police have to prioritise that, we know we've got a long way to go on this issue. So thanks very much, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Well, that concludes our agenda for today's meeting. I now declare the meeting of the Ordinary Council closed at 10:46 a.m. Thank you, councillors.